Good morning. Thank you for waiting. Yeah, 2 weeks ago, I brought the water lily to Oahu, and then people wondered how I could, transplant water lily through the airplane, and this was kind of wonder. And the secret was actually very simple. While riding upon airplane, I just took out water. So before boarding, I put down the water, so there was no water, so that I could take out the water lily. And also, people don't realize, to growing water lily needs water pond, big water pond. But I found out that to keep water lily in a plastic container is also good. So as long as cup is okay, the water lily grows. And so I have some old cup, and that's good for 2 years. And sometimes the cup itself is junk. But sometimes the cup is good. And one of my favorite is smoothie of Costco. That is actually very strong. So before, the smoothie was $1.50. So I used to buy smoothie from Costco, and after drinking, keep the cup container. And I have so many cups. Every time I keep, and so that was good. But now it raised up, and so $3, so we don't buy. But actually, before it was easily to get a cup, and so to grow water lily. So this is actually something that people don't usually imagine. To grow water lily, we need water pond or big bucket, but there is not such a thing. Even in a small container, you can grow water lily. So that is kind of discovery that's similar to the saying, egg of Columbus, the Christopher Columbus. So he tried to discover India, and he went to travel east. And then he actually found, he believed it was part of India, but it was actually America. He actually introduced to the Western. And then after the discovery, there was a party that they were talking about the discovery. Oh, your discovery is not so great, because sooner or later, as long as you travel, you will get to the India. You can find new land by traveling. So sooner or later, you can find it. So it's not great that people talk about. Then Columbus, it is said that he wants to prove that discovery is actually something. So he asked everyone to make an egg stand on its tip, right? So people try to stand egg, but people cannot, because egg, So the Christopher Columbus, he actually showed, he pat that egg and flattened the egg so that egg stand. Wow! But actually, people didn't realize it was great. Oh, that's not something that we are thinking. It's not great. We know. So that is actually inspire the saying that egg of Columbus. That is actually really creative idea of new discover. But after the fact, it seems very simple. So this is, I thought, just like a water lily. People actually, oh, it's not so great. But actually to find out, to grow in a water lily in a gap is also actually something that I was, wow. And also I found out, how to move water lily to the other islands is actually, we think water lily always need water, but for the time being, like maybe 30 minutes, 1 hour, 2 hours, no problem. They can live without, water. So I can just take out water. So that is actually secret. So that is actually similar to the, I thought, egg of Columbus. So anyway, today I want to what? Camera mirror. I see. So this is the newborn monk seal, Hawaiian monk seal. And then now the monk seal pup has a name, Loli. Loli in Hawaiian means relax or at ease. And it was named after so many weeks, 3 weeks. And then pup was born in actually April 26th. So when I visited Oahu, I went to take a picture of mother and monk seal. They actually live 6 weeks together. But after 6 weeks, the mother leave the baby and gone. They don't live together. So the average lifespan of monk seal is said to be about 20 to 30 years. But only 6 weeks, mother and pup live together. So the Hawaiian monk seal is living alone in most of their life. Of course, mating time, they sometimes get together, but actually only a short moment. But they always live alone. So because of this factor, it was named monk seal. So monk means alone or single or solitude. And so because they always live alone, they don't get together. So that's why Hawaiian monk seal actually it was named. So the parent and the baby together is very rare, only 6 weeks. And then they say 9 weeks at the most. So after 9 weeks at the most, they live alone. They live separately with the mother. So I feel very kind of, as compared to monk seal, we were so fortunate to live longer. If we are fortunate, we can live children together, for many more years. So that is actually I found. But today I want to share a picture story that I used to read to my children. So you may remember. You don't remember? So maybe my son remember, but this is one of my very favorite story of love of mother and then child, son. Okay, the title is Love You Forever. A mother held her new baby and very slowly rocked him back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And while she held him, she sang, I love you forever, I like you for always, as long as I'm living, my baby, you'll be. The baby grew, he grew, and he grew, and he grew. He grew until he was 2 years old. And he ran all around the house. He put all the books off the shelves. He put all the food out of the refrigerator. And he took his mother's watch and flushed it down the toilet. Sometimes his mother would say, this kid is driving me crazy. But At night time, when the 2-year-old was quiet, she opened the door to his room, crawled across the floor, looked up over the side of his bed, and if he was really asleep, she picked him up and rocked him back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. While she rocked him, she sang, I love you forever, I like you for always, as long as I'm living, my baby you'll be. The little boy grew, he grew, and he grew, and he grew. He grew until he was 9 years old, and he never wanted coming for dinner. He never wanted to take a bath. And when grandma visited, he always said bad words. Sometimes his mother wanted to send him to the zoo. But at night time, when he was asleep, the mother quietly opened the door to his room, crawled across the floor, and looked up over the side of the bed. If he was really asleep, she picked up that 9-year-old boy and rocked him back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And while she rocked him, she sang, I love you forever, I like you for always, as long as I'm living, my baby you'll be. The boy grew, he grew, and he grew, and he grew. He grew until he was a teenager. He had strange friends, and he wore strange clothes, and he listened to strange music. Sometimes his mother felt like she was in a zoo. But at night time, when the teenager was asleep, the mother opened the door to his room, crawled across the floor, and looked up over the side of the bed. If he was really asleep, she picked him up, the great big boy, and rocked him back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. While she rocked him, she sang, I love you forever, I like you for always, as long as I'm living, my baby you'll be. That teenager grew, and he grew, and he grew. He grew until he was a grown-up man. He left home and got a house across town. But sometimes on dark nights, the mother got into her car and drove across town. If all the lights in her son's house were out, she opened his bedroom window, crawled across the floor, and looked up over the side of his bed. If that great big man was really asleep, she picked him up and rocked him back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And while she rocked him, she sang, I love you forever, I like you for always, as long as I'm living, my baby you'll be. Well, that mother, she got older and older and older. One day she called up her son and said, you better come see me because I'm very old and sick. So her son came to see her. When he came in the door, she tried to sing that song she sang. I love you forever, I like you for always. But she couldn't finish because she was too old and sick. The son went to his mother. He picked her up and rocked her back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And he sang the song, I love you forever, I like you for always, as long as my living, my mommy you'll be. When the son came home that night, he stood for a long time at the top of the stairs. Then he went into the room where his very new baby daughter was sleeping. He picked her up in his arms and very slowly rocked her back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And while he rocked her, he sang, I love you forever, I like you always, as long as I'm living, my baby you'll be. Yeah, that's a story that we knew this story because when we attended Lama's class at Wilcox Hospital, the instructor introduced and read out this story at the very beginning of the class. And we are very new to become a parent, and actually when she was pregnant. So we were very touched and moved to know, and then to be ready to becoming parents. And this was actually, I didn't imagine or I didn't realize how I grew up, but by being a parent is a very challenging and also blessing. And we didn't realize, but to grow up is such a miracle thing. And then we cannot grow by ourselves. We always receive love, caring, so much love from others, especially from the parents. And when we are babies, actually, we cannot do anything. We cannot actually live by ourselves. We need to receive food and caring. That we actually learn. So, in a sense, to live is actually to receive. And to receive is actually, it's a great love and compassion. Because receive, that is actually many things, many invisible blessings that we are actually receiving, such as air. Without air, we cannot breathe. And without sun, we cannot live. And without universe, the space itself, we cannot live. So actually, we think as we grown up, we live, by ourselves, we can live. But actually, it was not true. We have more receiving every day, daily. At every moment, we actually receive. That is actually something that we call love. But according to tradition of Buddhism, love is actually not good thing. Love is one of the desires. So that is obstacle to be enlightened. So especially at the time of death, it's very important to have right mind, because right mind decide which world you are going to be reborn. So traditionally, to have right mind is very important at the time of near death. So they say there are three kinds of love. There are three kinds of love that we should avoid. One is kyogai-ai. It's an attachment to the people and material, such as family and assets or fortunes, houses, material things that are attachment. And so number two, jitai-ai is an attachment to the self, that we want to live more. So that is actually jitai-ai, is one of the loves that we need to avoid. And number three is attachment to the future life, that is called tosho-ai. So these are three kinds of love that we should avoid according to the tradition of the word love. We call it I in Japanese. So for a long time, we consider I is something not good. But the Western cultures, I is actually agape, is the God love or true love that is always around us. So this love is actually, it's such a great thing in Christianity. So, however, the word I, traditionally, which is translated love, is one of the desires of attachment that is not so good. Then, what is the equivalent of agape or Christianity love is we have also Buddhism, the good word, that is jihi. Jihi is a Chinese translation of compassion. That is, I think, closer to the agape, is a true love. And jihi can be divided two parts. What is ji is metta. So metta is translated as loving kindness. So this is the concept that deep realization that we are living together and friendliness. That is ji, is a metta, is itsukushimi in Japanese. And another factor of love is karuna. So karuna is self-compassion. This is more sympathy. So this is he. Nowadays we use as sorrow or sad. So in a sense, karuna is that when somebody is sad, we are with the person to share the sorrow. That is karuna. So love is actually, according to tradition of Buddhism, the jihi is the right word. That is metta and karuna. And then we can have the kanji I. So the kanji I is actually divided in two parts. One is to receive, and one is heart. So the kanji character I consists of to receive and heart. So what is I? The answer can be many things, many answers. So each one may be correct. And one of the understanding of what is love is, this is my favorite answer is, love is something to receive with heart. And to receive heart means that we can be mindful of that we are receiving. So we actually sometimes forget about that we are receiving, but stop and to think about what we receive is actually, it's a great love that we are always receiving. So today I wanted to introduce love is something that we are receiving. And also mother's love is eternal. Wherever she is, she always thinks of the child. Yeah. And then at the same time, child is always thinking of mom. So this is something, so I want to share this story for the Mother's Day. So this is a very belated Mother's Day, but please remember, mom is always thinking of children. Yeah? Okay, thank you very much. We start the service. Otsutobe book, page 3, Invocation. Amida Buddha, the awakened one, the compassionate one, we ask for your guidance on this happy day. Lead us from the numbness of routine and from all bitterness of heart to a peaceful place of compassion and wisdom. Grant us the strength and abiding consciousness to work together harmoniously in our temple and our community. Help us to always remember that life is one and therefore that all living things coexist and are interconnected, and that your infinite light of compassion shines upon the heart of everyone. Namu Amida Butsu. Namu Amida Butsu. Page 3, Vandana Tisarana. Page 8, the golden chain. Together, I am a link in Amida Buddha's golden chain of love that stretches around the world. I must keep my link bright and strong. I will try to be kind and gentle to every living thing and protect all who are weaker than myself. I will try to think pure and beautiful thoughts, to say pure and beautiful words, and to do pure and beautiful deeds, knowing that on what I do now depends my happiness or misery. May every link in Amida Buddha's golden chain of love become bright and strong, and may we all attain perfect peace. Namu Amida. Page 9, Eightfold Path. The Buddha teaches us that we may become pure and holy by following the rules he laid down for us. Let us repeat them and also remember at all times what they mean. First, right understanding. Let us learn and try to understand the truth. Second, right purpose. Let us try always to do what is right. Third, right speech. Let us be truthful and kind in all we say. Fourth, right conduct. Let us try to behave ourselves at all times. Fifth, right livelihood. Let us earn our living in a way which will not harm anyone. Sixth, right endeavor. Let us constantly try to become better. Seventh, right thought. Let us cherish our thoughts because our words and our actions arise from our thoughts. Eighth, right meditation. Let us think often of Amida Buddha and repeat the sacred name, Namu Amida Butsu. May the sacred presence of Amida, who said he would abide in his teaching, be our guide. May we follow his glorious example and tread with unfaltering step this noble path until we too shall attain enlightenment. Namu Amida Butsu. Okay, page 24, 跳躍門。法明見上実法世界念仏主上聖衆不者 The infinite light of Amida Buddha illuminates the 10 directions of the world, and all who call upon his name shall be received and never abandoned. Namu Amida. No. Egam, merit transference for the deceased. Dedicating merit through the chanting of sutra passages and the calling of Amida Buddha's name is an important practice in Jodoshu. This is a time to offer our prayers to our ancestors and beloved ones, as well as to remember them with gratitude for all they have done for us. May we aspire to live fruitful, peaceful lives while sending our thoughts to those who are not with us in this world. Let us now offer our prayers so that everyone be released from suffering and be born into Amida Buddha's pure land of ultimate bliss. Namu Amida. Soe Koge, page 26. 万日苦毒世の世際どつもないし往生安楽国 We aspire for these merits and virtues to be equally bestowed upon all, and may we together develop the aspiration for enlightenment to achieve birth in the pure land of peace and bliss. 10年 Namu Amida Bu, 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 Namu Amida, Namu Amida Bu, Namu Amida. Page 7. 念仏 Amida Buddha surrounds all men and all forms of life with infinite love and compassion. Particularly that he sent forth loving thoughts to those in suffering and sorrow, to those in doubt and ignorance, to those who are striving to attain truth, and to those whose feet are standing close to the great change called death. Amida Buddha sent forth oceans of wisdom, mercy, and love. Namu Amida. Okay, thank you very much. Our Amida Buddha is the Buddha of infinite light, infinite light. So in a sense, the invisible blessings that we are receiving is actually Amida Buddha's, can be Amida Buddha's infinite love. So we have two major practices, that is the self-power It is a power that you depend on yourself and your own power. And the other is actually we call tariki, that is other power. It is actually Buddha's power that we are receiving. So in order to explain the other power that we are receiving, the Honen Shonin explained other power is actually Honen Shonin experienced. He was invited to the imperial palace. And other power is that invitation to the imperial palace. Because he cannot go to imperial house, imperial palace by his own power. It is always invitation from the emperor. The emperor actually invites. So this is actually rely on the other power, the invitation is something like the other power. So no matter how he may be outstanding or he may be good, it is not himself that he can go to, whether he can go to imperial palace or not. He cannot do anything. It completely rely on the invitation of the emperor who can invite. So in like manner, Amida Buddha is so incredible, generous to invite everyone. So it is completely Buddha's wish that he wants us to come to the Buddha land. So this is the explanation of Honen Shonin about the other power. So it is important that we realize that we are more receiving. The invitation is already sent out. So that is, I think, very important. So anyway, thank you very much. I want to conclude the service with Namu Amida 10 times. 如来大慈愛民5年度小10年 ナムアミダムナムアミダムナムアミダムナムアミダナムアミダムナムアミダムナムアミダムムアミダナムアミダムツムアミダムありがとうございました。Thank you very much. Thank you very much.